All right, it's time for our weekly visit with Alabama's Terrion Arnold, presented by CraneWorks, RentalWorks, and WasteWorks. Rent from the big dog. The big guy, Terrion Arnold, says rent from the big dog. What is up, Terrion? How are you today?
I'm great, man. How y'all doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks a lot. I know you guys have a 24-hour rule, but I'm sure anywhere you go, everybody wants to talk to you about the ending of the Iron Bowl. So that's probably been a pretty hard rule to adhere to, right?
Yeah, it has been.
Okay. Does that mean we can't ask you about it?
Nah, y'all can ask about it.
Okay. So
my mind been off that.
So obviously you're a defender, so you're not on the field when the play happens. Can you walk us through you realizing that Alabama had just scored on 4th and 31 to take the lead?
I was watching it the whole time. Actually, our when our equipment guys had came, and they came by me and Kool-Aid. When the dude came by me and Kool-Aid, he was like, "Hey, they're gonna storm the field, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab y'all and walk y'all through this back entrance." I was like, "Dude, we good." Like, no, they're not. And Kool-Aid's talking to, he was like, "Hey, like we good. Like, what you talking about?" And then it was one of those things when I saw J Mill cross the line of scrimmage and then come back and still throw the ball, and we got the penalty. I'm like, man, so much stuff is going wrong. Something got to go right. I'm like, something got to go right. And anytime J Mill steps up in the pocket, like, I know good things happen. So when he stepped up in the pocket, I didn't know who he was throwing it to, but I say, we got a chance. We got a chance. And when I beat Carter, it was just one of those things that we rep in practice. Like, we do that drill in practice, but obviously we're not jumping for the ball or trying to take our teammate out, besides when we do it during fall camp. But when we rep that on Fridays, like, we rep that on Friday during our walk, and it happened. So
after that emotion, you had to get back on the field for a couple of plays. And the final play, I'm sitting on my couch and I'm like, Terrion just sent my kid to college because he got in the end zone. I needed these points at the end, and then they don't replay it, and I find out you don't score. I understand Dak Prescott not being a tremendous athlete, being able to tightrope it down and get the 2-point conversion against the Eagles. But I thought for sure you got in. What happened there?
Man, it was one of those things where, looking back at it, I should have cut across the field. But because I'm, like me, I'm one of those guys, like, when the ball is in my hand, hey, it's showtime, baby. But looking back at it, in my head, it's crazy because it was literally in slow-mo. As soon as I catch it, I said, oh, let me take a knee. Then I say, oh, no, let me score. So then, as I'm running, when I see Jaquez Hunter right there, I'm like, I'm faster than him. I don't really think he's going to try to tackle me. So I just try to avoid him. And then when I feel him grab me, I want to switch the ball and just sit for him, but I'm like, oh, man, I already got the ball right here. What if I fumble? If I fumble and he stripped the ball from me and go and score, I'll have to transfer. Like, I wouldn't be able to even be seen. I wouldn't even be able to be seen in Tuscaloosa anymore.
That would be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just one of those things where I thought I tight-roped it and extended the ball and got in, but it's crazy because when I did that, I ran all the way to the locker room because I'm like, dude, 2 picks in the Iron Bowl, it don't matter like how you got the picks. I got the picks. Like, 2 picks in the Iron Bowl. I'm from Florida, baby. They saying there goes Davis. How about it? There goes Arnold. So that's why I just kept running, and I was going like this as I kept running. Ran all the way to the locker room. I run to the locker room. Everybody coming in, we celebrate, we jump around and stuff. And then when all the chaos dies down, Coach Saban says, they didn't count your pick. And then he rephrased it. He said, wait, they counted your pick. They didn't count the pick 6.
Oh,
yeah, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
But then I just said, hey, it's one of those things where, hey, that just means God ain't want me to score. I score in a bigger moment. I get one. Hey, I might get one this game.
Hey, I love the Lane commercial that you and Milroe put together. That's good stuff there. Any kidding with him that he got caught on camera dropping the old MF after the interception? The game's over with because it's cleared about how bad he wants that Heisman Trophy.
What? Hey, I looked at him. I said, hey, baby, like, I ain't know you was doing it like that, Mill. Like, come on, man. We got kids watching. I get PG, but I mean, hey, PG-13 now, I guess. I mean, that's all the movies now. So it just showed his passion and love for the game, I guess. Like, I don't know what to say about that.
Terrion Arnold is with us. The big guy says rent for the big dog. CraneWorks, RentalWorks, and WasteWorks. He joins us each week. So looking forward now A lot is on the line here. SEC championship, potential berth in the college football playoff, and what has become a pretty interesting rivalry between you guys and Georgia. A lot of big games played in this series. When you first watched Georgia and their offense, you saw what?
They're the type of guys. Carson Beck, very, very great decision maker. Like, he's not one of those guys where you'll be like, hey, man, he going to take a risk. He going to take this. Nah, the guy makes the safe throw. As you would say, not even the safe throw. He makes the right throw. So very, very smart. And they could drive the ball down the field. And obviously they could run the ball too. So with the performance that we put up against Auburn, we know that we had to get a lot of things cleaned up in the run game, making sure we're sounding our gaps, making sure we're fitting everything. And with their offense, they're one of those teams that they make you beat yourself. So a lot of implode, explode, a lot of different formations trying to change the picture. And obviously in football, you can only run so many plays. But it's about how you get to the plays, and they can try to trick you with like eye candy and different things like that. So we just got to go make sure we go out there and play sound football. And like I was talking to the guys and talking to some of my teammates, not talking to some of my teammates, but talking to the guys and the defense yesterday, we were just talking about how we have to go out there and make them beat us. Like with Auburn, it was a lot of times where we beat ourselves. Like, man, third and 5, boom, 22-yard gain. And just getting off the field. So we just got to go out there and make sure we don't get caught in the hype. Like Coach Saban says, it's a lot of external factors that go into this game. Like, man, you're in the SEC championship. It's in Atlanta. You playing Georgia. This is why you come here. Kirby, Saban. Like, man, it's gonna be amazing. And this is why we watch college football. But we just got to go out there and play football. Like, it's something you've been doing your whole life.
You know, we talked to you before the Iron Bowl about the 2021 Iron Bowl. And you said they started saying F Nick Saban, and you were like, "Oh, okay, we got a shot here." You know, is there any similarities going into this SEC championship game from 2021? Because you guys were in the similar situation of being about a touchdown underdog. A lot of people were saying you don't have a chance.
Most definitely. I feel like it really resembles 2021. I mean, not 20. Yeah, it was 2021. That's when I came in. It really resembles it because we're an underdog. I don't think we were underdogs all season. Besides, they were saying something about when like Tennessee could have came in and beat us. But other than that, like, you know, going into the game, you're normally favored. And with people saying like, man, you ain't got no chance, or Alabama isn't the old Alabama, we've been embraced that. Like, we've always been preaching, we all we got, we all we need. So we're gonna go into this game with the people who've been rocking with us and play for each other. That's the main thing. Like I said. I was sitting in the DB room like, hey, man, if a guy catch a pass on you, make sure he has to catch that pass on you. Don't make sure he catches the pass on you because he beat you and you quit on the play. Like, man, finish through the play, finish through the ground. Like, you see a lot of plays where you're on offense and you're like, oh, man, look at that catch. And then right at the last moment, the DB gets it out. So just trying to create that identity and create that mentality as far as we're getting the ball and getting turnovers. And that's one thing that I go into the game thinking every time. Like, I know when I came here, I was like, man, I want to be remembered as like a ball hawk, somebody that just got the ball. Like, when you look at Minka, Eddie Jackson, you're like, dang, those guys got the ball. And that's why kind of the Auburn game, my teammate Jalen Key, like, we from the same place, Tallahassee. So when the interception was in the air, he's like, bro, T, you ain't have to come and take the ball from me. In my head, I'm thinking like, I thought somebody from Auburn knocked me down. When I went and watched it, we hit each other. I was like, bro, I don't know if I was getting ready to score, but if I would have caught that ball, I was getting ready to slide. I knew it at least had 50 yards in me. Like, I don't know what was going to happen after that, but I'm telling y'all guys, like, I was getting ready to slide. And, like, you know, just things like that as far as bringing the energy and just going out there and having fun. Like, I feel like we've done a great job of that this year, just having fun with each other. Like, if y'all watch us, Malachi and I, like, I always say Malachi is like to the defense, like, you know how you build a puzzle and like you get that last piece, and if you don't just put that last piece in there, then it's just like a puzzle that's not complete. Like Malachi, like, he completes it. And I just say like that mentality that he has, like Malachi has that mentality, whereas far as the Auburn game, perfect example. I fall on the sidelines. This was like the third play of the game. Y'all remember when I jumped up, got the PBU?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I fell. So I fell on my hip. So when I fall on my hip, I'm like, I'm hurting. Malachi runs over there. Their coaches are trying to help me up and stuff. They're like, hey, 3, you good? Malachi runs over there. He don't need help. He good. He good. And then like he picked me up. I'm kind of limping. Kool-Aid tell me, he say, stop limping, T. Stop limping, T. Show no weakness. This is war. I'm like, all right. I'm like, all right. So like that mentality that Malachi has, like and he's had it since I first met him. Like Malachi, he goes out there and literally, as they would say in football, like it's war, like a Spartan mentality. For those 60 minutes or however long that game is, man, he out there fighting, like his life on the line. And like just embracing that mentality.
Boy, I tell you, you're like Hallmark all of a sudden. Malachi completes us, man. That's put that on a Hallmark card, man, and give that to him. That's awesome. I want to ask you about Ladd McConkey. When you watch him on tape as you get ready for this weekend, how does that? I mean, that guy's open. He gets open all the time. What does he do to get open all the time?
He's one of those guys. Almost, I feel like when you look at him, he kind of reminds me of like a more athletic version of like a Slade Bolden. Like he kind of resembles like Julian Edelman. So like when you go down there, you're like, look at this guy, man. Like you finna do this to me. So like when you go out there and you look at him, like I feel like a lot of times people can underestimate him on tape or things like that. But I mean, the guy's a ball player, great routes, and I mean, shot player. Like normally people aren't really taking shots to 5'9" white guys, but I mean he's open. Like he's open, and the dude's a gamer. So like he's one of those guys. Like when I'm looking at him on film, I'm like, dang boy, I'm ready to guard him. Cause games like this, you get up for it. And like matchups like this, like you know everybody gonna be watching. You know when they motion and it's this backside, like that's a feeling as a corner that I mean you have to love. Like when you're at corner, they motion away from you. It's 3-by-1, and I'm on the left side of the field, so you know 9 times out of 10 the quarterback is looking straight to his left because it's an easier throw. So like you just know that moment, and you can kind of feel it. Like I always say in football, I've done a better job this year of trusting my instincts. So like last year when they used to hit me on back shoulders and stuff, I knew it was coming, but I didn't know it was coming, if you get what I'm saying. So like now when it's coming like that, I'm like, oh man, okay, all right, throw it if you want to. Throw it if you want to. So it's just one of those things like that. Like the dude is special. He's very elite, and I'm looking forward to us going out there and playing against him.
So we've got a great client, Gutter Cap, and I talk about don't get on the roof. You slip, you fall, you snap the neck and die. You're no good to the wife or kids. You mentioned Tallahassee a couple of times. Your grandfather had this roofing company that you worked for back in the summers. I'm terrified of heights. Were you scared of heights before you started doing this? And like, how high of a roof would you get on? And were there any close calls?
Nah, I've never been. I'm kind of like one of those guys that's a risk taker. Like I always said, hey, before I get to the NFL and they put it in my contract, I'm trying to go skydiving. I got to. Like that's just me. Like I'm a risk taker. I was one of those guys growing up. Hey, T, I bet you can't do this. Hey, we're gonna find out if I can do it or not. Running up walls, backflipping off of trees. That's why I say I'm kind of like a mix between like a city and country boy. Like my mom, she grew up in the city, so like going to her house and living with her, it was city. When I used to go visit my grandparents and live with my grandparents, and I was in the country, so it's a mix of both. So I mean, growing up, it was really a blessing for me. But with my granddad, I've never had a close call. But the crazy thing about it is, I was in the 11th grade. No, I was in the 12th grade. I'm ready to go off to college. I had committed to Bama and stuff. I was ready to go off to college, and you know, I didn't come during the early signing period. Came during the summer. So my granddad and I, after I used to work with him and stuff, because I was working with him like during school and stuff. Like I had completed my classes and stuff, and I had a thing where I didn't have to go to school for the first 4 periods. So I just go work with him, make me a little extra money. Like my granddad is one of those guys. Like if you working, you working. Like he used to always say this right here: I'm not going to sit up here and watch you watch me. And he said that my freshman year too, like when I wasn't playing, he was like, hey, I'm not coming to the games to watch you watch me. Like I've never been that type of person. So that motivated me to play. Although he came to all the games my freshman year. He did. I was watching him watch me. He used to be like, hey Pops, what's up? So my granddad, we were at this job. It was a 2-story. It was a 2-story house. It's kind of slick. He's on the ladder. As he's on the ladder, keep in mind my granddad was 58 at the time. Now he's 60. So my granddad was on the ladder. He's getting ready to get off the roof, and as he's getting ready to get off the roof, his leg slips and the ladder falls.
Oh no!
And he falls. Like as he's falling, he's literally falling down, getting ready to fall back on his neck. And right before he hits the ground, like he kicks up like that. So he kind of fell on his side, like And I was right here by the homeowner, guy by the name of Stephen Wallace. He was like, "Holy Terry!" And then I looked. I was like, oh, he just fell. Like it was in slow mo because it was one of those things. I'm literally 30 feet away from him. I'm just looking at him. It's not like I could just run up there and catch him or anything. Like I'm watching my granddad fall. Like if he would have fell on his head, he probably would have been paralyzed. So I watched him fall. Then when he falls, he just fell off of 2 stories. Now 58 years old, he gets up. I'm all right. I'm like, man, you are not okay. So anyways, man, we walked to the truck, and he was like, yeah, I got to finish the job. So then when he finished the job, we get in the car, and he's like, man, I got to go to the house, man. I'm kind of hurting. And then next thing you know, he ends up taking a nap later on in the day. His shoulder ended up being messed up. Man, we still went and got a good workout in. And it's just like one of those things, like as far as my granddad, that toughness, I feel like that's where it comes from, just watching him deal with that. Because he still hasn't gotten his shoulder checked out to the date. Like I swear the dude probably has a torn labrum. I mean, AC joint all out of whack. Like it's crazy. But like my granddad and roofing, like I feel like I tell people it's one of those things that taught me to trust myself. And it's kind of like playing corner because, like, when you're on the roof and you kind of have, like, the gravel or you start to slip on it, man, there ain't nobody coming out there to grab you. Like, my granddad can't just grab me and be like, hey, don't fall. I got you, T. I got you, T. Like, he on the other side of the roof. Same thing in corner. Like, when you on the deep part of the field or you backside with the backside X and the ball in the air, you got to make that play. You got to save yourself. And, like, my granddad is notorious for always telling me, like, hey, T, in life, no one's coming to save you. Like you came in this world alone. I didn't have no twin coming in the world. Like I came in by myself. You came in alone, you're gonna die alone. Like no one's coming to save you. And I feel like I've adopted that mentality as far as playing DB and even telling it to my teammates.
Terrion Arnold, presented each week by CraneWorks, RentalWorks, and WasteWorks. Rent from the big dog. It is CraneWorks, RentalWorks, and WasteWorks. Good luck against Georgia, Terrion. As always, thank you for the time, buddy.
Thank you guys, man. Have a great day.
You too.